Big day. Big day, buddy. Welcome to another episode of Giuseppi Watches a Movie. Today we continue our 2020 was a disaster movie marathon with a movie suggested by one of our viewers, The Savage Puppet. Now, I'm a little nervous that this is my ex-girlfriend because that's one of the nicer things I call her. So if it's you, I'm sorry, but remember it was me, not you, and I really like you, and we should be friends, and blah, blah, blah. But thanks for watching, and I watched your movie. And the movie was The Towering Inferno. This is from the 70s, and you could tell. I mean, the opening credits was a cheesy song and cheesy titles, and I thought I was watching an episode of The Love Boat, man. Like the best episode ever, because it had like Paul Newman and Steve McQueen and Fred Astaire and so many stars. Dabney Coleman, Faye Dunaway, like so many people. I was like, wow, this is the best episode of the Love Boat ever. Gopher's gonna have a heck of a time with this cruise. But yeah, then the movie gets going, and there's a big building, and Paul Newman's the architect, and it takes about 45 minutes before Steve McQueen shows up, but he's the head of the fire department, so you got to set it all up. But it basically comes down to a bunch of rich people took some shortcuts on making a building, and then it burned down. It was basically like the Titanic, but standing still. I mean, it had so many scenes that looked like they were right out of the Titanic. I mean, there was one scene where, like, the guy who designed the building is sitting there, and someone comes up to him and says, "How long do you think we have?" And I could see Victor Garber in Titanic going, "Minutes, hours, I don't know." Like in the Titanic, I was like, "Holy jeez, this is right from that." Some notable moments. The two people that actually had sex, Robert Wagner, and I forget the lady's name, but the two people that had sex died. So it's almost like the building was Jason or every other a horror movie icon that hates when people have sex, but they both died. A cat was saved by none other than O.J. Simpson. Like, he was a security guard. He got people. His main thing in this entire movie was he saved a cat. And unfortunately, it's O.J. Simpson. You want to cheer the guy who saved a cat, but it's O.J. Simpson. So yeah, that was a rough moment for me. I'm like, yay, you bad guy. But ultimately, this whole movie was summed up by one lady who I think this might have been her only line. She was like being escorted out of the building, and she was just like mumbling something like, "We're supposed to have fire drills. Why didn't we have fire drills?" And let me tell you, lady, I used to work in an office, and fire drills were not taken seriously. That buzzer goes off, and everyone just looks around and goes, "It's not real, right? I don't have to stop what I'm doing because this is a pretty intense game of solitaire I got going right here, and I'd hate to have to go outside right now." But yeah, I'm convinced anyone who works in an office building is going to die if there's ever a fire, because no one's going to take it seriously. But yeah, so The Towering Inferno. The only real problem I had with this movie, I mean, it was exciting, and like I said, it was basically Titanic standing still, but it was 2 hours and 45 minutes long. And I have to tell you, I've been watching a lot of these disaster movie marathons, or these disaster movies, and there's nothing worse than, it's like, okay, these are movies where bad stuff happens for the entire movie. And then when that movie is almost 3 hours long, it's, oh, geez. Like, if you're going to make a movie about bad stuff, make it like 90 minutes, dude. I got a threshold. There's only so much anguish I can take. Anyways, not a bad movie for being in the 70s. A big cast, which was good. And, I had one other real beef. I kept waiting for Fred Astaire to break out into a tap dance number. I'm like, you're going to put Fred Astaire in your movie and he's not going to dance? Even during like the ending credits, I was like, okay, here it comes. You know, there was a point at the end where he was all tied up and they were going to flood the building. I'm like, well, Fred Astaire can't die. He hasn't danced yet. And spoiler alert, no dance from Fred Astaire in the Towering Inferno. That one left me unfulfilled. Anyways, other than that, not a bad movie. Make sure you're in it for the long haul, though. 2 hours and 45 minutes. All right, keep those suggestions coming in. We got a few more movies left in the Disaster Movie Marathon, and then we're back to, the one or two people that actually watches this making suggestions. So both of you, keep sending those suggestions in. All right, bye.
The Towering Inferno.